वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay. So today we are going to read from introduction of Bhagavad Gita. So we need to start from here. Okay, we'll read the verse. तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम् अनुस्मरयुध्य च मय्यर्पिता मनो बुद्धि माम् एवैषसि असंशयः. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time continue your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. He does not advise Arjuna simply to remember him and give up his occupation. No, the Lord never suggests anything impractical. In this material world, in order to maintain the body, one has to work. Human society is divided according to work into 4 divisions of social order: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. The Brahmana class or intelligent class is working in one way, the Kshatriya or administrative class is working in another way, and the mercantile class and the laborers are all tending to their specific duties. In the human society, whether one is laborer, merchant, administrator, or farmer, or even if one belongs to the highest class and is a literary man, a scientist, or a theologian, he has to work in order to maintain his existence. The Lord therefore tells Arjuna that he need not give up his occupation, but while he is engaged in his occupation, he should remember Krishna, Mam Anusmara. If he does not practice remembering Krishna while he is struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. Lord Chaitanya also advises this. He says, Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. One should practice chanting the names of the Lord always. The names of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So Lord Krishna's instructions to Arjuna to remember me and Lord Chaitanya's injunction to always chant the names of Lord Krishna are the same instruction. There is no difference because Krishna and Krishna's names are non-different. In the absolute status, there is no difference between reference and referent. Therefore, we have to practice remembering the Lord always, 24 hours a day, by chanting his names and molding our lives activities in such a way that we can remember him always. So let's discuss, then we can read next. So here Prabhupada quoting this verse from 8.7. So yesterday we read, Prabhuji explained till like, the last thought of the life. So whatever the consciousness one have at the end of, when quitting the present body, that is the situation they will attain without fail. So in this regard, we went through some scriptural references too. Then after that, when Prabhupada is continuing, how can we be to attain to remember Lord Krishna at the time of death? Then what we need to do? So in that situation, like Prabhupada quoted this verse from Bhagavad Gita, which is Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha Mayarpita Mano Buddhi Mameva Shisha Samsriyaha. So this verse is saying Sarveshu Kaleshu. Sarveshu means always. So always, all time, Ma Manusmara Yudhyacha. You remember me and perform your duty, which is Yuddha, means fighting in a battle. So by doing that, like, he has to do Mai Arpita Mano Buddhi. Mano means mind, Buddhi means intelligence. So fixing your mind and intelligence on me. By doing all these things, definitely, for sure, without any doubt, you will attain me. So this is the verse which is explaining here. And now Prabhupada is going to explain in detail about this verse, especially the word called as Mam Anusmara. Smara means remembering. So, and as in the present context, the last thought of life is remembering Krishna. So here the Anusmara is stressed so much in the next paragraph. So Prabhupada starts explaining about the explaining to Arjuna, like, you have to fight because you have to do your occupational duty. So in that context, Prabhupada says here, there are four divisions in the social order: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. So Brahmana class is an intelligent class, and Kshatriyas are administrative, and Vaishya, Sudras are merchantiles and laborers. So these four varnas already Krishna speaks in the fourth chapter, I think, ninth verse, or Chaturvarnyam Maya Shashnam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. In that verse, Krishna explains these four divisions are created by me according to the modes of nature. Even though I am the creator, but I am like in a neutral. I can't do any changes to this one. It means that Krishna created these four varnas to maintain the society goes smooth according to their category. Everybody maintains their category. In that way, the whole society grows in a healthy way. So in that state of society, human society, what one need to do, one has to work to maintain the body. So definitely one has to work. Even he is here, Prabhupada mentions the highest class scientist, theologian, anyone has to work to maintain the existence. So here the Lord is saying to Arjuna, so you should not give up your occupation. Means as a Kshatriya dharma is to fight. So if situation comes, he has to fight to protect the citizens or some other regions. So you should not give up that occupation. But when you are doing your occupation, you have to remember me, or you should remember me. That's what the word in the sloka says, Mam Anusmara. So here Prabhupada writes this very strong statement, which we can like quote in our mind. If he does not practice remembering Krishna while he is struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. So the consciousness which comes as a last thought or in our life when the body leaves or death time is, which we accumulated our time and our energy throughout our life. That's what comes with us at the time of death. So that's where the consciousness carries towards to the death time. So if one is not like remembering Krishna in struggling of for existence, then it will not possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. So this even instructs us one should cultivate the activities which makes us to remember Krishna. So that's where when we invest our time, whatever we have, in the activities which makes us remember Krishna, then at the time of death, with Krishna's mercy, and that time we will, with Krishna's mercy, Krishna may come and remember, give the remembrance. That's what I studied, that verse quoted from Varaha Puran. It says, right, Yadvadati doshena. So it says that verse is 1 second. Yeah. Yadvadati doshena madbhakto maham na cha smaret. Yadvadati doshena. Dosha means difficulty or some uneasiness. So madbhakto means my devotees, if some difficulty, if they're not able to remember me, na cha smaret. Smara means remember. Then Lord Varaha like is giving a assurance. Aham smarami. Aham means I. Smara means I give the remembrance to him, to my bhaktas. Aham smarami mad bhaktaha nayami paramam gatim. So by I give remembrance to them to remember me, with that one I will take them to the paramagatim. Paramagatim is supreme abode. So if my devotee is unable to remember me at the time of death because of disturbances felt within the body at that time, then I shall remember my devotee and take him back to my supreme abode. So this is the Lord giving assurance. So even if you see like a few examples of acharyas, who like who meditated like how to remember Krishna at the time of death, have got some prayers. You can see that one is Mukunda Mala Shlokam. So in that one, Kulshekar Alvar says, and even Prabhupada stresses this verse, everyone should memorize or everyone should meditate on this translation at least. So it says, Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam Adhyaiva me Vishitu Manasa Raja Hamsaha Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavata Pittai Kantha Varodana Vidau Smaranam Kutaste. So Kulshekar Alvar is saying in this verse, Krishna, I am calling you now. Now, please consider at this moment I am calling you. It says that when the translation I'll read, after that one I'll explain the verse. Lord, O Lord Krishna, at this moment let the royal swan of my mind enter the tangled stems of your lotus feet. How will it be possible for me to remember you at the time of death, when my throat will be choked up with mucus, bile, and air? So here it says, uh, the royal swan of my mind is like a swan. Normally the swan's tendency is they get if they get entangled with the stems of the lotuses, they feel good, they purposefully want to do that one. So he's comparing that attitude, like my mind is like a swan and I want to entangle like a lotus stem, like of your lotus feet. So now itself I'm doing that. When I'm offering my mind to you, let it entangle to the lotus feet of you. But how it will be possible for me to remember you at the time of death, when my throat is choked up, like I can't speak due to the bile, mucus, and air? So I can't loudly chant your name, or I can't speak, I can't call you. But now I'm calling you, please come, like that he is saying. This is very beautiful prayer Prabhupada says. And the other thing is, even in Vishoparishad, the last, I think 17th verse, it says, please remember all I have done for you, all that sacrifices so far, whatever I have done for you, please remember, and remove all the hindrances for my spiritual path. So these are the prayers different mood, like to make requests to the Lord, to remember at the time of death. And here interesting point is smara means remembrance. So there is a verse in Nectar of Instructions, 8th verse. It says, uh, it's that verse describes so much about remembrance, but there are a lot of things that verse describes, but at the time, if, related to this context, we'll see what is the remembrance there. So it goes the verse Tannama Rupa Charitadi. Yeah, this verse is here, you can see on the screen. Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Sprutyor Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya Tishtan Rajeta Danuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayed Akilamityupadesha Saram. So this verse is like an as of all instructions, it's saying. This verse explains a lot of things like about the controlling the mind, or how to train the mind and intelligence and tongue to make remember Krishna, like that. But according to our present context, the remembrance comes here, smara. So the smara is a state, here explains in the purport of Nectar of Instructions, 8th verse. So there are the progressive stages from hearing to remembrance. There are 3 stages. One is stage of hearing, that is called as Shravana Dasha, means the state where we focus on hearing about Krishna Katha. So when that stage become like when we hear and when we become accepting the message which we are hearing, then we enter into the next stage called as stage of acceptance. That is called Varana Dasha. Varana Dasha means we accept what we are hearing and we get attached to hear more about Krishna Katha. That attachment stage is Varana Dasha. Then the third one is Smaranavastha. Smaranavastha is stage of remembering. So remembering means meditating on the translations, or meditating on what we hear, meditating on the scriptures, meditating on the Guru's instructions. That is called as stage of remembrance. So to grow to that remembrance stage, first step is we need to hear. After hearing, we need to get attached to that one. We need to contemplate on what we are hearing. We need to get conviction what we are hearing. Once the taste comes, then the taste comes and we get attached to the hearing. When we attach to the hearing, then when we meditate on that one, that's where the remembrance comes. Again, going further in the purport, Prabhupada explains that remembrance has, like Krishna Smarana has progressively 5 stages. First one is recollection. Recollection is we hear in and out here and there, and there are the interrupts in time intervals, like maybe weekly once or next 6 days or gap, not can't able to recollect, like that. So but some effort is there to recollect that one. Then when that interruption of hearing become uninterrupted, then it will become absorption. That is the second stage. So when we constantly hear, then that uninterrupted hearing recollection, what makes us absorb in what we are hearing. Then the third stage is when that uninterrupted hearing or uninterrupted connection to the Krishnas become concentrated, means very intense, concentrated, like focusing more, then it will become meditation, third stage. Then when that meditation become constant remembrance, like in a particular like consistency way, when we do, then it will become anushmruti. It means like constant remembrance of the Lord. That anushmruti, when it become uninterrupted and unceasing, that's where the samadhi trance comes. So these are 5 stages in age of remembrance. So everything, whatever the progressive stages to the remembrance, it starts from hearing. So hearing is very, very important. From there, the stage comes and we reach to the smara. Anusmara, smara means remembrance. So related to the remembrance, I want to share this one. And Next, we'll go ahead. If he does not practice remembering Krishna while he is struggling, then it will be, we read this one. Then next, like here Prabhupada says, Krish Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. Harihi is the instruction of Lord Chaitanya. So if you go and see Shikshastakam, there it says, Trunadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnana Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. So Kirtaniya Sada Harihi means always chant holy names of Krishna. That is the instruction of Lord Chaitanya. So here it says the names of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So how it is non-different? So there is a verse in Padma Puran which says, Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhinnatva Nama Namino. So this verse is from Padma Purana, which says there is no difference between Krishna and his name. So Nama Chintamani Krishna. So the name of the Krishna is like a Chintamani, it's a transcendental gem. And next, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. So it gives the rasa, like taste of transcendental form, like a Vigraha means the form, transcendental form. And it is Purna. Purna means it's complete. And Shuddho means it's uncontaminated. And it is eternally liberated. And Abhinatva, there is no difference between Nama, Namino. Nama means, Namino is the person who have that name. So this verse is saying that the sentence goes to this verse. It says the names of Lord and the Lord are non-different. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just saying Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. So one who chants and one who, it means that when chanting, he's directly communicating with Krishna. Directly he is talking with Krishna, like that. So that is the instruction Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. And here, Lord, at this present moment, Lord Krishna is giving instructions to Arjuna as remember me. Remember me means like always be in my consciousness. So both instructions, Kirtaniya Sada Harihi and remember me, both are same. So that's what that here it's saying. And last sentence is very, very important. Therefore, we have to practice remembering the Lord always, 24 hours a day, by chanting his names and molding our life's activities in such a way that we can remember him always. So how can this sentence is giving the solution? How can we develop the remembrance? See, there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is also from, I think, Padma Purana only. I'm not sure. But it's quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 22:113. Smartavyaha satatam Vishnu, Vishmartavyo na jatuchit, sarve vidhi nishedashu, etayor eva kinkarai. So it says, Smartavyam satatam Vishnu. Smartavyam means remember. Satatam Vishnu. Satatam means always. Vishnu means like Krishna. Vismartavyo means forgetting. Vismartavyo na jatuchit. Never forget Krishna. So first line is remember always Krishna. Second one is never forget Krishna. And these two, sarve vidhi nishedashyur. Sarve means all. Vidhi means rules and regulations. Nishedashyur, whatever rules and regulations or injunctions quoted in all the scriptures and Vedas, those all instructions or those all rules and regulations are the kinkara, means servants to these two rules. See how important these two rules are. Everything else come as a servants to these two rules. The rules are always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Always remember Krishna means whatever we are doing, that's what Prabhupada is saying in this paragraph. Whatever occupation, whatever social situation we are situated in this material world, we have to remember Krishna. Like I was hearing Amarendra Prabhu's class, like he said that one, we can pull Krishna in our daily life. We can remember Krishna, like if we are not able to see anything belongs to us, like you can ask Krishna, where is this? We can talk with Krishna. And making that one we can remember Krishna in any way. Like if we got stuck in any way, Krishna, like so to remember Krishna, we need to mold our lives in a way that we need to engage in more in that activities which makes us remember Krishna. So like kind of chanting, reading, learning or studying, or sharing Krishna Katha, all these activities makes us to remember Krishna. Like once I heard like in a class saying that when there was a Prabhu in the temple, he's a brahmachari, and whole day whatever activities he does, and he goes here and there and talk with the people. He is a full time in the temple. So whomever he meet, he says Hare Krishna. He finished that purpose what he met. Then after that one, you tell something about Krishna, I will tell back something about Krishna, like that. So he maintains these things which makes him whatever he's doing, it ends with Krishna. Okay, whatever you hear, you heard, or you experienced, your realization, tell something to me, and I will tell back something what I felt. So he ends whatever he does in the temple ends with love, like exchanging of Krishna's uh, remembrance with that one. So that is the one way we can do, or like reading in the devotees association. So reading oneself is different. I realized that this one, I can read myself the book, but when we read in the devotees sangha, like 4 5 devotees all together, that is the different, because each one prospect is different. When we discuss, that's how like initial days when Prabhupada asked all the devotees to read Krishna book before going to the bed. So once I heard like a yeah, every brahmachari in the temple, Prabhupada kept a rule, they should read Krishna book sitting all together in one place and drink one glass of milk and go to the bed. This is the standard. And everybody has to at least read one chapter and exchange. So once they were reading about the Dvivida, so there was a class by Radhanath Maharaj. He says very nicely in that class. So saying that one, how Dvivida felt like so proud of himself in front of Balram. It started like showing his strength by waving the water in the ocean. It created lot of floods to the villages. So it's all like the devotees, like they cherishes all these exchanges. So playing things in front of Krishna, all these are like childish things. So like that, so they used to read Krishna all together. That is the Prabhupada recommended. So reading in the association of devotees is different, and studying means like linking the whatever we are hearing. Okay, this sentence is saying here, and I heard one more thing from a class or from Prabhupada, and here it mentioned like that. So that linking makes us to understand. So and it brings conviction too. Okay, it's not only, see here, there is a difference between the name. There is no difference between Lord and Lord names. So we can connect that one with a verse in Padma Purana, Abhinatva Namanamino, like that. When we discuss with the read and study with the devotees, we will get all these things, so that it gives more conviction to us. It's not only the sentence, English sentence, but there is a scriptural references for this one. So like that. So like studying, reading helps, and chanting, it's a one-on-one association with Krishna. So chanting names, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. So increase our time for chanting, increase our time for reading, and all these things is going to, and attending temple programs and hearing from the devotees. So these are the activities which makes us remember Krishna. And what is that one, never forget Krishna is, we should not invite or give positiveness or uh, the activities which makes us forget Krishna. So that's why never forget Krishna means we should not accept the activities which makes us forget Krishna, like 4 regulative principles which makes us forget Krishna, or prajalpa. So if the talk is not related to Krishna, if the talk is not related to anything which is going to help us for our spiritual growth, then it's better just skip for that communication, or leave that group and come. Or but we are all working in this material world, but still we have to work. But we need to be intelligent enough, like to take shelter of Krishna more. So devotees are very intelligent enough, like they bring Krishna somehow in the in the conversations of two persons activities. Like Vaisheshika Prabhu always says, um, in book distribution, like whatever they are there, whatever they say the answer about karma, whatever it's there, he'll appreciate, and he brings Krishna to there, right? So that is the motto of a pure devotee. So like even pure devotees placed in a group where no devotee existed, all are non-devotees also, he gives association to them, but he don't take their association. That is the important thing. So the last sentence says that when the ultimate essence of this paragraph is, we need to mold our lives in such a way, we need to accept the activities which helps us to remember Krishna, and that remembrance is going to help us to remember Krishna at the time of death. And that's how it says Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. And we have seen the Anusmara, remembrance have 5 stages, and that it explained in Nectar of Instructions, 8th verse. So we'll take a pause here. If anybody have any questions or comments, corrections, we will see now. Thank you.
Can you repeat one more time the 5 stages of remembrance? I know the first is hearing and the last is samadhi, but I'm missing the middle 3.
Okay, sure, Mataji. Absorption. Second one is absorption. When the hearing consistency, then it will become absorption, and that absorption, when it become concentrated, it will become meditation. And that when meditation become constant, like then it will become anushmruti, constant remembrance. Then that anushmruti becomes samadhi when it is uninterrupted.
Okay, got it. Hearing, remembrance, then absorption, then meditation, then intense remembrance, and then samadhi.
Samadhi, yes.
Yeah, anusmriti, whatever the anusmriti,
Yeah,
the
anusmruti, yes.
English equivalent is, like intense absorption.
Remembrance, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
I also like that Nama Chintamani verse that you quoted from Padma Purana.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, can you quote that again? That was beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. It's Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatva Nama Namino. So it says Nama Chintamani Krishna. The name of Krishna is Chintamani. It's his transcendental jewel. And Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. So the form of the Lord is transcendental form. So it gives transcendental rasa. And that is Purna. Purna means it's complete. Shuddho, it's uncontaminated. It's a pure. And Nitya, which is eternally liberated. And there is no abhinnatva, there is no difference between nama, namino, means the person and the name and the person who has the name.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. If no one has any comments, we'll go ahead and read next paragraph. How is this possible? The Acharyas, how is this possible means like molding our lives and are remembering Krishna. How is this possible? The Acharyas give the following example. If a married woman is attached to another man, or if a man has an attachment for a woman other than his wife, then the attachment is to be considered very strong. One with such an attachment is always thinking of the loved one. The wife who is thinking of her lover is always thinking of meeting him even while she is carrying out her household chores. In fact, she carries out her household work even more carefully so her husband will not suspect her attachment. Similarly, we should always remember the Supreme Lover Sri Krishna and at the same time perform our material duties very nicely. A strong sense of love is required here. If we have a strong sense of love for the Supreme Lord, then we can discharge our duty and at the same time remember him. But we have to develop that sense of love. Arjuna, for instance, was always thinking of Krishna. He was the constant companion of Krishna, and at the same time, he was a warrior. Krishna did not advise him to give up fighting and go to the forest to meditate. When Lord Krishna delineates the yoga system to Arjuna, Arjuna says that the practice of this system is not possible for me. Arjuna Vacha Yoyam Yogastvaya Prokta Samena Madhusudhana Etasyaham na Pashyami Chanchalatva Stitim Stiram. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. See? So Prabhupada is saying, how is it possible? How can we remember and how can make Krishna always in our thoughts throughout our time, 24/7? So how is it possible? Is the Acharyas gives an example. So Prabhupada gives an analogy here. So if a woman is attached to a man other than husband, how nicely she takes care of the house in such a way. She takes care. She don't want to husband should not get any suspect on her. So in the same way, it's a very strong example, like a paramour relationship. In the same way, one should always remember supreme lover Sri Krishna and at the same time perform our material duties very nicely. So normally 24/7, how can we remember Krishna? So related to this one, I heard a small story, but I don't know the scriptural reference for this one, but I heard, I'm just sharing. So once Narada goes to Narayana and says this, just like conversation, it comes and see this Brahmana, some particular Brahmana. So see this Brahmana is so devotion, and he is doing regularly his sadhana, and he is so much dedicated to you like that. Then Narayana laughs and says, okay, you do one thing, you go to that Brahmana, stay one day, and Narayana shows one small labor cobbler, and he says, go to this cobbler also, stay one day, and after 2 days you come back to me. Then Narada goes in disguise and he goes to that Brahmana, and that Brahmana invites him, and he stayed there for 1 day, and he observed all the daily routine duties of that Brahmana. So that Brahmana every day morning he wakes up and he performs all his sadhana duties, and he arranges everything for the Lord, and he goes to the work and comes back in the evening, again goes back to the devotional service, offer food, everything is doing. Then after 1 day, this Narada goes to the cobbler, and he stayed there, and this cobbler has he won't do that much kind of elaborate worship of Narayana, but he has his way of standards, but he follows that one. He worships the Lord Narayana, and he whole the day, whatever, like Narada stayed with cobbler, right? Whatever he speaks, he takes the name of like Lord Narayan. Whatever he asks, he takes, and whatever he speaks, he links to that one, like some pastime or some whatever he heard in the previous, like that. So he remembers throughout the whole day whatever activities he did that Lord Narayan. Then 2 days goes off, and Narada goes back to Lord Narayana. Then Narayana asks to Narada, so you tell me who remembered me more. Then Narada says, obviously cobbler remembers whole day you, whatever activity he started doing, whatever he is speaking, he comes at least once with you, so he remembers whole day you, like that, Narada says. And then Narayana asks, what about Brahmana? Now Brahmana remembered you, but he's a systematic way, he does his activity in the morning and goes out of work, and whole day he didn't even said one time your name when he was performing his duty, and in the evening again he comes back, he remembers you. So there is no difference in that, Brahmana and the cobbler. But interesting thing is here Prabhupada is stressing one should remember Krishna always. Always means whatever occupation duty, clearly saying like there are 4 categories of caste, and whatever occupation duty or social order we are situated, we need to remember Krishna. So why that remembrance of that act, like while doing activities, remembrance of Krishna makes us is, see, if we don't remember Krishna and simply do the activities, so there is a Maya is there and we get born to that work. Even though if we perform like systematic devotional services also, that's why Krishna says in 3rd chapter 9th verse, Ignartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara, which says that one work has to be done as a sacrifice to the Krishna, otherwise it gives bondage. So when we remember Krishna, when we pull Krishna into that one, Krishna's hand comes into that one, then there is no bondage. So if we don't like we discussed like few weeks back, like if we don't serve Krishna, we serve our own senses, or we serve our household, like relatives and everything. So serving is there by default in us, but serving Krishna will makes us reveal from the bondage. But serving our senses and the relatives, it makes us creates bondage to stay in this world. That is the difference between those two service. That's why it's called devotional service, and this is not service. So service is there by default. Even if it is a atheist or any person, any living entity, human being, service is their default. So atheist has to work, atheist has to realize, atheist has to struggle to work for his existence. So morning I read one quote from the Prabhupada. It says that one, the devotees realizes the Lord in the performing of devotional service, and the atheist realizes the Lord's existence in the form of death. So death, the Krishna says, like, death I am, it comes like it comes and grabs. So whoever the hardcore atheist, he has to accept the death, because nothing, there is no escapism. So atheist accept the God's presence in the form of death, and for devotee accepts the Lord or God's presence sense in the service of, in the performing of devotional service. So in that sense, so to remember Krishna, the 24/7, when we do activities, it don't create us bond to that work. So because by remembering Krishna, we are making that work as a sacrifice. So when that work become like normal work, even though it's like a office work, whatever it says. So remembering, like few devotees says that when if something goes wrong, oh Krishna, somehow pull the Lord's name into that one. Oh Krishna, you did something. If kids do, I have seen a lot of Matajis, like, if kids did some mess up, so they says, oh Krishna, what have you done, like that. So like somehow, even it is a fun way also, we are pulling Krishna into that one. So if something is not like, I'm not able to see something, means we can, Krishna, where is this one? Like, just talk. There is nothing harm or nothing is there. Just the consciousness, we pull Krishna somehow into our lives. Especially in the thoughts, that makes a lot of difference. Some small steps, it makes a lot of difference in our consciousness. So that's how the remembrance here, the paramour relationship is there. So similarly, we have to remember Krishna always. So how secretly, how attentively, how minutely the woman is very, very careful, because her husband should not suspect her. In the same way, we have to remember Krishna in that attentive mode, wherever we are, whatever work we do. So that, for that one, Prabhupada is saying, a strong sense of love is required here. So what is required to make that remembrance, or to make remember Krishna whole to 24/7, is a strong sense of love. How do we get this strong sense of love? Here's it. If we have a strong sense of love for the Supreme Lord, then we can discharge our duty at the same time remember him. But we have to develop that sense of love. So how can we develop that strong sense of love? Is by hearing. See, last when the Kartik, like Damodar month went off, so it's a one pastime, but whole month we meditate, and every time when we meditate, we get new realizations. We never get bored. Oh, I already heard this. No, every time, like, all the pastimes, like Navanava Shobhayamanam. There is a Sanskrit word, it says Navanava means it's a new. Shobhayamana means it brings bliss. So every time, whenever we hear the same pastimes, it gives nectar to us, and every time we learn something. So that kind of when we hear, like, like more pastimes about Krishna, this kind of sense of love develops by hearing and sharing. And we heard like Namodar Lila means immediately it comes like a 2 inch too short of the rope, and those are the efforts and the Krishna's mercy, and the milk, it rolls like lot of thoughts in us, like okay, the milk overflowed, and the milk thought like if Yashoda gives whole stomach full milk to Krishna, who will drink me? So that's why the milk overflowed on the stove. Every acharyas give lot of like descriptions, and the pulling of the Arjuna trees. So those are the very deeply rooted, and like that there are anarthas in our heart which are deeply rooted from millions of births. Krishna, you pull with the motor those two trees. Please pull the anarthas from my heart so that you come and stay in my heart. And when we offer diya, we invite Krishna to come and stay in the heart. All these meditations runs in our mind, like we are hearing year by year all this Damodar Lila, right? So this kind of meditations gives that sense of love, because we come to know about Krishna. See, when we love anyone, because when we know more about that person, even in material life also same thing. So always when we try to please the beloved ones, means we mold ourselves in such a way to make him happy. Like if I am a Mataji, if I love someone, means if that person is coming to my home, means i i I first take information what he likes or she Mataji likes and don't like. If that Mataji likes some item, I mold myself to go to, even if I don't know also, go to the extent to learn and make that one and serve the Mataji so that she'll be happy. So same thing, when we love Krishna, we mold our lives in such a way, even if we don't know that activity, we learn that activity and we engage in that activity. The key is knowing about Krishna, hearing about Krishna. When we hear that one, definitely that activities come in our life because we show our natural interest. So when we want to please beloved ones, means we work according to their like tastes. Same thing, by hearing all these pastimes, definitely we get some taste. See, every Kartik is coming, okay, every time, okay, as we heard all these things, we'll take resolutions. Let's sing like Damodar journey, like read the book Damodar journey, or read every day one Prabhupada class. Like all these things are like resolutions. That way we take activities, invite more activities which remember makes us Krishna. See, New Year is coming. Every auspicious day is an opportunity to increase our activities towards to the Lord. Like Kartik month, Purushottam month, and Margashirsa month. Now it's like it's a happening Dhanurmas and New Year. So all these are like appearance and disappearance days of acharyas. So these are giving an opportunity to increase the activities in our lives which makes us remember Krishna. So definitely we'll take, okay, this Kartik month I chant like 2 more rounds extra. Little steps, that's fine. But what we are inviting, the activity which we remember Krishna more. So that is kind of taste comes by hearing. When we know the pastimes, definitely we hear. And we hear if like Gajendra prayers, if you recite in the morning, it's good. Okay, let's Kartik is coming, let's recite Gajendra prayers every day in the morning. It's an but by reciting, we'll recite. But what is happening? Indirectly, you are inviting Krishna into your life by remembering him, by consistently making your resolution strong. At the same time, inviting all these activities make you to remember more Krishna. So you may do like it is an auspicious, but Krishna is making you to go closer to him. So this kind of things makes us to develop this sense of love. Hearing is the key. Hearing is the key, and developing the taste to make the taste into absorption. The second one is Varana Avastha, right? Varana Dasha. So Shravana Dasha, Varana Dasha, and Smarana Avastha. State of hearing, state of acceptance, and state of remembrance. So when we become at the state of acceptance, accept what we are hearing from a pure devotee, then automatically what will happen? We incline towards to the activities which makes us remember Krishna. So that's how we can develop this sense of love. So here Arjuna, coming to this back to the point, Arjuna, for instance, was always thinking of Krishna. See, even while sleeping also Arjuna chants Krishna's name, and he was constant companion of Krishna, and at the same time he was a warrior. So Krishna never advised to give up the fighting and do the meditation, go to the forest. No, Krishna, like, he created, Krishna revealed the yoga. So when in the 6th chapter, when Krishna revealed, before that one I want to say one more point. See, at the same time perform our material duties very nicely. So when we become Krishna consciousness, what is going to happen? Krishna is intervening in our life. We will perform this material activities even more effectively. So that's what in my practical life happened. I used to do the same activities with, like, laziness or something, like some prolonged procrastination, or not interested much, and for the sake of doing like that. When it become Krishna consciousness, like, it's became a systematic life, this time to this time to this. How the days pass also we don't know, but when that particular, like, structured way happens, definitely we do the effective work towards the material duties also. Everybody here in this call, they might definitely experienced this thing. So by accepting Krishna consciousness, even we perform material activities in an intellectual way and effective way. So that is the one point. Then coming to this Arjuna point, as he is a constant companion and thinking always Krishna, so Arjuna was bewildered, like he said that one, as you are telling all this comes in 6th chapter, like kusha grass, sit in a high place, all these things. I don't think so it is practical for me, like it's impractical, and the mind is restless, like that Arjuna says. And here Krishna gives this verse. Just I'll read the verse and translation, and after that we will stop. So for that one, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesha madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamotaha. So Krishna said in 647, of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So here it says two words here, Shraddhavan bhajate. Shraddhavan means one should worship with faith, Shraddha. So that kind of yogi is yuktatama. Yuktatamo means the highest of all. Like normally yukta is intelligent, yuktatara like superlative, yuktatamo. Yukta, yuktatara, yuktatamo. So it's a time up, but I'll stop here. If anybody have any realizations or comments, corrections, we will take now. Thank you.
Okay, the statement that you read saying that if you don't remember Krishna at the time of difficulty, you're never going to remember at the time of death, that's a little bit scary. Because my thought is, whenever you ask him, Krishna,
it says that one. It says that one, if you don't remember Krishna at the time of struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. So
yeah, struggling for existence, I translate it as when you're in difficulty, when you have some difficulty in your life, if you don't approach Krishna for the solution, that means at the time of death, you're not going to remember. My tendency is not to ask Krishna, because I feel like for every difficulty, if you say, give me this, give me that, do this for me, do that for me, So I feel like you should just struggle on, and not really bother Krishna for your material things, or your material difficulties. But now I'm getting an opposite view. So maybe I'm doing wrong. Maybe I should approach Krishna.
No, Mataji, that is ultimate consciousness. Like a pure devotees never ask anything, never expect anything from Krishna.
Well, I'm not pure. I'm emulating. I just heard that you're not supposed to ask. That's why I don't ask. Not because I'm so pure, because I was told not to ask. And so I say, okay, I was told not to ask, so I'm not going to ask.
Yes.
But now
you are remembering Krishna, right, Mataji? You are chanting every day. You are remembering Krishna, right, Mataji, by doing devotional service, chanting every day, offering food to the Krishna. So that's the enough. You are connected to Krishna. Even whatever it goes in difficulty or whatever it comes in life, you are surrendered. You are remembering. You are doing your part, like your consistency where the devotional service is going on. So shows that is there in you.
Okay. And when you're doing that without asking, Krishna gives you what you need,
Yeah, that has happened to me many times. I don't ask, and then eventually, and plus I say that verse that Mother Jiva asked me to say. Well, Niranjan Maharaj said pick one verse, and Mother Jiva had picked that verse for me. And I say, if I'm saying that verse and then I'm asking things, then I'm being a hypocrite. Because the verse says you're not supposed, it says whenever you take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, you automatically are shielded from the sun. Like when you take the shade of, when you go under the shade of a tree, automatically shielded from the sun's rays. So that's what that verse says. So I feel if I'm saying that every day and then I'm not believing that and I'm doing something else, so I feel I should not be asking, and that's why I don't ask.
You're
And
not
yes,
mentioning what
eventually
that
it does
verse
happen.
is. You're not mentioning what that verse is.
I think I told you that. It's Atayeva Swayam Tad Upakalpa Yasmakam Bhagavata Param Gurustava Charana Shatapalascha Chayam Vivida Vrajina Samsara Parishnamopasamanim Upasratanam Kameno Pasadit. And loose translation of that verse is when you come under the shade, when you take the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, it's like coming under the shade of a tree, you're automatically shielded by the sun's rays. So all that's painful in life is automatically taken care of. You don't have to make a separate endeavor. That's what the loose translation of that verse is.
So,
But if I believe that and I'm taking shelter of the lotus, and then to say do this for me, do that for me, doesn't sit right with me, at least to my thinking. So I
I
don't
just
ask.
heard, I just heard that whoever remembers that verse doesn't need to worry about remembering Krishna. So you are fine, Mataji. Your life is set. Go back to
Thank you,
Godhead.
Prabhu.
Just on that one verse, you are set. Stop worrying. Jai Jagannath.
Okay.
Jai Jagannath.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jai
You have
Nanda.
said it, you are a pure devotee. So if it comes from you, I'll take that as a ashirwad,
Awesome, Prabhu.
benediction.
Yeah. Mataji, do you have the verse number, Mataji, what you recited just now?
I had looked it up for Radha. I have to look it up again. Actually, I asked Mother Jiva. It's in my computer somewhere. When I find it, I'll give it to you. I'll email it to you.
But where is it? Where is it from?
It's in the Bhagavatam. It's a Bhagavatam
Yeah.
verse.
Mhm.
So you can't say one thing and practice another thing. You have to mean what you say. So that's why I don't ask. And yes, eventually Krishna does fulfill everything. I've seen that happen too, without asking. So
Krishna loves us so much, Mataji. Definitely, whatever you did, like as he says, Krishna remembers, like, nothing goes in vain. Neha Vikramanashosti, Pratyavayo na vidyate. Solvam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So nothing goes in vain. So he remembers whatever you did. Knowingly, unknowingly, you may forget, but Krishna never forget. Don't worry. So he has your account, so you have everything saved there.
yeah, but I've done very little. But anyway, if I associate with you more often, maybe some of your enthusiasm will rub off on me. And what you said this morning is very appealing to me, that you have to be determined. But how do you develop determination? That's my second question. You have to be determined in spiritual life, but how do you get that determination?
One thing I can say is devotees association, Mataji. By associating the one who determined towards the spiritual life, by associating with them, we will get determination. Any other comments, Mataji's, Prabhuji's in the call? Please go ahead.
No, I agree. That's why people who live in the temple, they have constant association. So it's easier for them, to not forget Krishna through the whole day. And like you said, association of devotees makes a big difference, even if it is through Zoom calls.
Yes, Mataji.
And that is association,
Yeah. Related to determination, there is a verse, Mataji. I'm not able to recollect from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, you said you put a
but
verse. Yeah, you said you had a verse that you followed, so that might be a good verse.
not verse, Mataji, it's a quotation, like which Maharaj gave that quotation. Normally we get like Prabhupada quotes like that, right? It's kind of that quotation, not verse. But there is a verse about the determination in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the purport speaks more about determination. I'm not able to recollect that verse number, but if I find anything, I'll let you know, Mataji, that number. The whole verse purport, it speaks about the determination.
Thank you, Vallabhi Gopi. If you find it, let us know.
Yes, I'll text you, Mataji.
Yeah, send it my way too, Vallabhi, okay?
Sure, definitely, Mataji, I will text it. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, if not, we'll offer prayers to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpa tarubhya evacha patitanam pavane
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
Ananta Koti
Anantakoti
Vaishnava
Vaishnava
ki
Vrinda ki
jai.
jai.
Srila Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki jai.
jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you all.
Tulsi.